now.
Okay, all right. You can play it before it gets lost, then we'll continue.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you able to see and hear?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Communicating well with your teen is about establishing trust and a foundation for mutual respect. Let's look at some scenarios that show both the wrong and right way to communicate with your teen.
Really? You're an hour late. Now the post office is closed.
I just forgot, okay?
You're so irresponsible. What's wrong with you?
I just forgot, okay?
You're grounded.
You're so unfair.
The father was worried and scared that something had happened to his son. That fear and anger was directed toward his teen in an unproductive way. It's okay to be upset in this situation, but dumping those feelings on his son won't help him from being late in the future. For a more productive conversation, frame the exchange with I statements that explain reasoning and fosters a two-way communication.
Hey, son.
Hey.
I was worried about you. We agreed that you'd be home an hour ago since I needed to use the car. When I didn't hear from you, I thought something bad might have happened.
Sorry, I was at Sean's house. We were all hanging out, and I didn't realize that it was so late until I got in the car to come home and saw the time.
Listen, I'm glad you're okay. But why didn't you call when you saw what time it was?
I don't know. I guess that I knew I messed up.
Yeah, it's human to lose track of time, especially when you're having fun. Mistakes happen, but part of growing up is keeping your agreements. I need to know that if we agree on driving privileges and a time that you have to be home, you're going to stick to it. Now, you get that, right? So, since you were late, your weekday curfew is going to be 6 o'clock for the next month.
Really? A whole month?
If you can show that you can come home on time, we can talk about moving it back to 7 o'clock. Agreed?
Agreed.
Look, it's really important that you don't hide your mistakes from me. And hey, I don't expect you to be perfect, but I can't help you if you don't communicate with me. Owning up to your mistakes shows that you're responsible, but hiding them, trying to avoid the consequences, that shows me you're not being responsible. Make sense?
I get it.
Hey, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Actually, yeah.
The father used I statements to draw his son's attention to the fact that there are consequences for his actions, and this opened the door for his son to share his other concerns.
Everyone else gets to stay out later. How come my curfew's only 7?
Okay, some of your friends may stay out later than you do, and others probably come home earlier. 7 o'clock on a weeknight works well because you usually have homework to do, and you have to get up really early for school. If you get in late, then you're up even later doing homework. It's hard for you to get up in the morning, and then you're all cranky.
Dad, really? You make it sound like I'm a baby. All cranky.
I'm sorry, cranky was a poor choice of words. I shouldn't have said that. What I'm trying to say is that we all need enough sleep to stay healthy. The curfew's only there to keep you safe and healthy, not to control your personal life. If there's a specific event that you want to stay out later for, we can discuss that on a case-by-case basis. That's why your weekday curfew is 7 o'clock.
The father communicated to his son that rules are in place for safety and not control. House rules work best when teens understand why the rules are in place, not just that rules exist and they must comply with them. The father did call his son cranky, which wasn't the best choice of words, and his son took offense. The father recovered by acknowledging his mistake and also modeled taking responsibility for his actions. Here's another example.
See you later.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the mall with Michael.
Didn't Michael just get his license? No way, you are not going anywhere.
I have no life.
Help your teen understand that the rules are in place for safety and not control.
See you later.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the mall with Michael.
Come here, please. I didn't know Michael got his license. When did he take his test at the DMV?
A few weeks ago. Gotta go, he's waiting.
Oh, hold on a second. I thought we had agreed that you wouldn't ride with a newly licensed driver. Remember, it's the law in our state. And I'd be worried you'd get into an accident with an inexperienced driver.
Mom, he's really smart, and I know he is a good driver.
I'm sure he will be, once he gets a little more experience. Until then, no riding with him. The state has laws like this for a reason. It's unsafe. I need to make sure that our family follows the law, and so do you. If you get into that car, that means your friend is breaking the law. He could get into a lot of trouble, and you both could get hurt. How about I drive you both to the mall?
No way, Mom. That's too embarrassing. Look, I'll talk to him. Maybe we can just hang out here, okay?
That sounds like a good idea. And later tonight, I'd like for us to talk some more about this. I need to know that you're going to follow the law and rules all of the time, even when I'm not around. I need to know that I can trust you, honey.
Yeah, I know.
These are just some examples based on decades of research to help you think about how parents may sound to teens. Your family may look and interact differently than what was displayed in the video. Take the guidance from the scenarios and make them your own. No one knows your children and family better than you do.
Thank you, Wangoi. So I hope you all enjoyed and learned from the video. And I would love to open the forum. Could we say what have you seen that is, what positive aspect have you noticed from the video that you can apply with your teen or with your child? And even what you'd love to change, because we all know we are work in progress as parents.
Annabelle, I think one thing I see in the video is the exercising of patience.
Mm-hmm.
The parent being very intentional about being very patient.
Mm-hmm.
With the young adult or teenager, with regard to how they communicate to them.
Mm-hmm.
So being very intentional about exercising patience and in communication with them, and having that emotional intelligence. This reminds me of a video we saw yesterday in our session yesterday, and the young man had failed in his exams, and the father was very, very angry. And now I think the father was not able to calmly explain the disappointment to the young person. Yes.
Right. Thank you. Any other person?
Yeah, I think what I noted, this Daisy, what I got from the video was the part where the mother wanted to drop the girl and the boyfriend, and the girl is like, it's embarrassing. Sometimes as parents, we think you care too much, you're just so protective and you don't want to give your children some space. To you, it's being protective, you think you're really caring, but to them, it's like embarrassing and all that. When it was going on, I was just asking my daughter, why, if she had a boyfriend, why she wouldn't want me to drop them to a place to have fun? She's like, no, why? It's embarrassing. What will other kids say about that, you know? So again, it's about the peers out there, I think. And yeah, I just thought I should mention that.
Thank you. Anyone else would love to share?
Annabelle, I'm seeing a comment on the chat section. Somebody is saying calmness. They saw calmness in the video, I think, to the parents. And then being a friend of our children is very important. If we are in good relationship with our children, they will tell us everything and trust us. Mutual communication, it was not one-sided. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now,
I will say, this is Vespers, yeah?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We can
Hello?
hear you.
I will say that I've not seen Ocampo, neither Bensouda type of characters to those parents, because you have those parents who are Bensouda and Ocampo, where parents come in and kids are running all over, going to chat or to feeling intimidated by parents. But these are kids where they can be able to talk with parents and
fresh.
yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Wangwe, I'm seeing there's, while punishing them, you need to let them know why they're being punished. They're why. You need to explain the why. Kindly mute your microphones. Thank you. So before we saw the video, I had told you about the acronym TEEN. You train, equip, encourage, and nurture. From that video, we can see the both aspects. The first reaction, the teen defended himself because the dad was telling him what he wanted, but it was he was telling him, but he never plugged into the teen's world, and that is something we should learn. You need to plug in your teen's world. When making decisions, involve them, but as you involve them, have the mindset of a teen, plug into their world. Then the E in the teen is, the first one is equip. You have to equip them with what roadmap are you setting for them? Equip them to follow that road. Then encourage. Be there as a cheerleader, be there as a supporter, hold their hand. Nurture, and then nurture the positive aspects. What is negative, deal with it. As a parent, you're encouraging them in that journey. So as you nurture them, hold their hand and walk that journey with them. Nurture what you want to see, what is the end product. Because as a parent, you can use, you always have a roadmap for your child, but involve them, get them into your world. So how do you plug into your teen's world? I have simplified it to 5 S's. So the first one is share their interests. Share your teen's interest. And how do you share your teen's interest? You must first know what are your teen's interests. Understand what does your teen love, what don't they love, and make an intentional choice to share their interest. If it is watching a movie, schedule your time that when both of you will be watching movies. If it's playing musical instruments, if it is cooking, if it's taking a walk, if it's jogging, And how do you maneuver around the shared interests? You have to form first the connection and the bonding as a family. And I loved what someone said, make your teen your friend, because it's easier to have shared interests when the teen sees you as a friend. They'll involve you in anything. The second S is skip the lecture. As I said earlier, don't tell the teens what to do. Train them, teach them on the roles you want them to take, but also involve them in the journey of assuming the roles. Don't lecture them, but involve them and train them, such that without you, they can also make decisions, and they can also walk their journey. They can also, sorry, I can see someone is asking, the second S is skip the lecture. Skip the lecture. Don't lecture them, don't tell them what to do, train them, teach them while holding their hand. Develop their abilities through teaching and training. The third S is simplicity. As I said earlier, I'm a teenager in this session, so simplicity is our language. If you notice from the video, the father plugged into the teen's world, and he responded to the teen's emotions through emotional intelligence and his language, his conversation. They had a dialogue, and the dad never had a monologue. They had a dialogue, they had a conversation. So have simple conversations with your teen. A simple conversation is as simple as, how was your day? Most of the times teens will always tell you, my day was fine. What made your day fine? You start a simple conversation that will lead you to the complex part of the day. Then the fourth one is stay steady. Stay steady as a parent. When you stay steady, you make your kids feel safe in their relationship with you, and they are able to connect with you. They know they are safe with you. You will not judge them. You will not condemn them. And by staying steady as a parent, you have to be aware of your weaknesses. If something like an occurrence can make you angry very fast, you're alert. You're alert, you're taking control of your situation and your emotion. Don't let the situations lead you to training your kid. So stay steady and be alert. Be always alert and be present. Be present with your kid. And the final one is support your teen unconditionally and holistically. Support them through the facets of life, that is physical, emotional, spiritual. And by supporting them, it means you're present. You're supporting them when present. You're holding their hand through the teenage. Because at teenage, they do not need a guard, but they need someone who is supporting them to make the decisions, because they're very fast. They have a lot of decisions because they're experimenting. They're trying to find out, who am I? What works for me? So support them to evolve naturally and positively. So those were the 5 S's. How do you plug into your teen's world? The first one is shared interests, skip the lecture, simplicity, stay steady as a parent, and then support them unconditionally and holistically. And so how do we sharpen our teens as parents? So now this one has the 5 R's. So the first one is recognize. Recognize and celebrate that you're going through the teenage journey. Honor, what I would tell parents Sorry? Okay. What I would tell parents is honor the teenage parenting. Honor it. Don't make it like a terrible teenagehood. Honor it. Honor it by recognizing and celebrating that you're going through teenagehood together with your teen. Make it a moment for them to remember. I learned this from my teenagehood, and I went through it with my parents. Also recognize the good habits that your teen has throughout the whole process. Recognize them and drive them forward. Recognize them and walk the park with them as they're going through with the positive habits. Endorse them. What of the bad habits? Also recognize them. And as you recognize them, correct them with love. Then replace. Yes, you have recognized the good habits, the positive and the negative habits. Now it is for you as a parent to walk supportively, walk with your teen. Involve them in replacing the bad habits. Don't make decisions on their behalf. Involve them. So whatever you need to replace, the bad habits you need to replace to sharpen your teen, you have a conversation, have a dialogue, and work it out together with them. They are able to own the process with you. The third one is remind. Intentionally remind yourself as a parent that we are going through, you made the decision to go through teenagehood. You made a decision to go through teenagehood with your teen. And as you walk through it, also remind them, this is what we came up with. When you are recognizing the good habits and the bad habits, you must have come up with a system on how to work on each one of them and how to endorse them. Remind them of it. Come up with a system on how you remind them. And for you to create a system for you to remind them, let me give you an example. It's like, let's say in my teen loves watching movies. So we say that is our connecting time. We create a system whereby we watch the movie, and after the movie, we go back to the system that we set. That is just an example. Teens are very different. So look for what works for your teen. Then reward them. When they are making the progress, do not forget. That is when they want to be noticed. They want to shine. So always reward. And also remind yourself as a parent to reward them through the process, such that in the teenagehood, that is when I call it the exchange zone. Like when you are running the relay race, when you're passing on the baton, that process, now you as a parent are passing on the baton to the teen through the lifelong process of the teenagehood. Because after teenagehood, that is when you get to the young adult. Most of the things they learn here in the teenagehood, they are going to apply them in the young adult. So make sure you're doing right to pass the baton. And the last R is reach out. As you remember in the essays, we said support them unconditionally. Also, as a parent, to sharpen them, reach out by let me give you an example. My teen is an extrovert, loves going out, loves being with friends. You need also to reach out to your teen's world. Know the friends, get your world into their world. you should be 2 teens. And always remember this, if you have 3 teens in the house, every teen is different, and you parent them, that is a new person you're seeing. No 2 teens will ever be the same. So you also have to find the mechanisms for all of your teens. Each of your teens, they are very different and they are wired differently. So that is how you sharpen your teen. You recognize what you want to sharpen. What do you want to sharpen? And what do you want to withdraw? So you replace whatever you want to withdraw with the positive aspect you want to sharpen with. Set a reminder through your family connections, through your teen connections. You can always find a system on how you remind. How do you remind them that we're supposed to be consistent on this? This is a goal we set. This is the goal we set. We're supposed to be consistent. Reward them. Whenever you notice a step that has been made, make them to shine in your home. And as I said, make your kids shine in your home. And when they shine in your home, they will shine in the world. Then reach out to their world. And that calls for emotional intelligence, being there, being present. Just be present for your teen throughout the whole process. Do we have any questions so far?
Yes, Annabelle, there's something I've seen somebody has shared, and they will comment on why they shared that picture. If it's okay, I share it on my screen.
Okay. I don't, okay, okay, maybe you could share it if you think it's real.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi.
I have a question.
Yes.
Lately, I've been having so many parents asking for counseling for teens who have been brought up in all those under all those circumstances which you have told us. They are very loved, they are mentored, the parents go into the world or their world, and they are very friendly to them and all that stuff. But it reaches a point that says that I can't handle this system. The child now starts to rebel from nowhere, Everything is held constant. There is good parenting and all that. And all of a sudden, as we know, the teens are looking for their identity. They are unable to now, they just start thinking and rebelling, and parents are really going through a hard time, especially this time. I have a client who the child does not understand what curfew means. She or he wants to come out just before the hour of curfew. And as it is, there is a time she and other friends were caught by police, and they were really, the parents had to go through a lot of problems to get them out. So what can you tell the parents? In a real counseling situation.
Hi, Annabelle.
Hi.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I can.
And that's just it's a humorous way of depicting some of the things that teenagers go through in their teen, and what parents. Okay, just let's hear. It's something very I've seen in the group. I thought it might be good to share, and then you can hear also.
This is a madam. Okay. Yeah, so we could discuss it.
Annabelle, someone is saying in the chat section, explaining to the teens that rules or curfew are there for their safety and not a punishment, and leaving room for negotiation with the teen other than adapting rigid rules.
Nice one. Thanks.
This Wangoi.
Yes.
Oh, this was it was the response for the video.
No.
Okay.
Yes, from the video. Yes, from the video earlier on.
All right.
Yes.
Mary. Okay, Mary had a question. Mary. Mary, Dr. Mary Kamina.
Yes.
Kindly, could you repeat the question?
I think it has been answered. What she said is true, that sometimes we have to explain to them the logic behind it, not a punishment, but I don't know, that particular incident that I had, the child will not even listen to the safety, it is not a punishment, all the stuff that we are saying here, but sometimes it's quite not that easy. But we keep on now encouraging parents to continue without giving up, I guess.
Yeah.
You can proceed, by the way.
Okay. Wango, you had something to say?
No, I'm okay. You can continue, Annabelle.
Okay.
Can I say something before Annabelle goes on?
Yes, that's fine.
This is Pauline, no? One thing we need to realize as counselors, as parents, is that teen rebellion is part of human development. Whether you've done your part as a parent, there will come a time when the teen will rebel, because that's part of human development. I don't remember which psychologist talks of moratorium. So we need to understand as parents, as counselors, that teens will rebel in one way or the other. However smart your parenting has been, it's part of human development. And when we understand this, then we give that room for them, because how else will they be able to cope with the world after maybe they attain adulthood? Again, we need also to realize, why is the teen misbehaving? Why is the teen rebelling? Then we look at what is the mistaken goal behind that misbehavior. Maybe when you have time, we shall look at mistaken goals of teen rebellion, so that we can understand he is rebellion because maybe the parent is too powerful. He is rebellion because of feelings of inadequacy. You know, when we treat our teens just like small children, they will rebel to show us, you know what, mom, I am now an adult. I can now make decisions. So it could be that it's not your parenting that is faulty, but the teen is rebelling because you've treated that young man, that young girl as a child, even in her teens. And they will rebel to remind you, you know what, mom, I'm now becoming an adult. So understanding that teen rebellion is part of human development will help us cope with this crisis. And remember, again, it's just a crisis and it's just a phase. And sooner or later, it will be over. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Yeah, that was so insightful. Thank you. Yeah, Wangoi, is the next video ready?
Give me 1 minute, Annabelle, for it to be ready. I'm getting set.
All right. And Pauline, thank you for what you've shared. It's insightful. And actually, you're going to see it in the next video. It's about rebellion, the rebelling of teens. And most of the teens, they want to be seen, they want to be heard. they feel they are invisible, so they'll do anything to make themselves visible to you. And as the teen is growing, always remember, we have the ABCs, or the ABC of parenting teens. The first thing is accept them, show them acceptance right from home. And when you accept your teen right from home, and you follow the train, equip, encourage, nurture, you give them a sense of belonging, which makes them have a meaningful existence. They are going to stand out in your home, which will make them automatically stand out in the crowd. And as we wait for the video, as I wind up, what I would love to tell every parent is, please make this stage an adventure for them. Make them remember their teenagehood. Make them grow through this teenagehood. Shape them. Let them enjoy the process of being a teenager, because it only happens once, but that once shapes the rest of their life. And as a parent, honor the process. And as you honor the process, your child is also going to honor the different mechanisms of growing and how they're growing. They are going to honor the process. So let's honor the process as parents, which automatically makes our teens honor the process, and they're going to feel safe to make the adventure they want to make through the teenagehood. They're going to try out a lot of things, but they want to know, where do I fit in? And plug into your teen's world, and remember, transformation that lasts is based on love and connection. It's not only based on love, it's based on love and connection. So as you transforming your teenagers through the teen parenting, remember it's based on love and connection. So be intentional on making the connections and also showing them love straight from home. And when that happens from the home setting, they will stand out in the crowd. Wango, is it ready?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you could play it.
David, remember, we're living off of one paycheck now, okay? Hey, we only have $100 to spend.
Okay, Mom, I get it. You're getting divorced. I'm not an idiot.
All right.
Like it's my problem?
All right.
You're so annoying. Ooh, Ma, I want these. They're only $200.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry. They're too expensive. We have bills to pay.
You never get me anything I want. This is exactly why I wanted to live with Dad.
Please, lower your voice.
No, you're like the stupidest, most selfish mom ever. No wonder Dad left.
An angry and abusive teen throwing a tantrum in the middle of a store. An exhausted and embarrassed mom who just can't keep him under control. Do you tell the boy to step in his mom's shoes and show some respect? Do you give the mom some parenting advice? Or do you simply sneak away from this very personal situation? What would you do?
Please don't say such hurtful things.
Stop being such an idiot and just buy me the stupid shoes.
We're at Sneaker Room in Jersey City, New Jersey, where usually it's the shoes that have attitude. But today, it's mostly David.
These are nice. They're black like that.
Why are you being so dumb? I'm telling you what I want. They're cheap and ugly.
It might look like this guy is too tied up to hear what's happening, but he's all ears.
You're being selfish and stupid.
He's a parent himself, and his patience with David's rude behavior is hanging by a shoestring.
We can't afford them. I need you to understand that. We can't afford.
Yes, we can. Being such an idiot. My son talking like that, I would smack the crowd. She's being dumb, dude. They're only 200. You want to only afford what she can afford. That's it. Don't talk to your mother like that.
We send Lorraine back in.
So you giving me the money? I'm sorry, I don't mean to intervene. But he was just trying to see if I was trying to agree with the way he was talking to you, and I don't like that at all. To have children with myself.
I'm just so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do.
I don't know how it feels to be overwhelmed, but you shouldn't allow him to speak to you like that at all.
If she could just buy me the shoes, I would stop.
She shouldn't. She shouldn't have to. If she can only give you $100 for a pair of sneakers, that's it. You should be grateful for that.
Time to introduce ourselves.
Anywhere in the world, if I would have saw that going down, I would have felt the same exact way. I would have said the same exact thing. A lot of parents feel like they have to be their child's friend these days. And that's another thing. I'm not your friend, I'm your parent.
David's back at it. And this young man just can't look away.
I told you what I wanted. I want these. They're $200. That's not that much.
I only have $100. We're just going to get these. I only have $100.
You're so stupid. No wonder why Dad left.
As it turns out, he's 24, not much older than David, but he's certainly far more reasonable.
You believe my mom, man? She'll let me get these.
Well, she's buying you something, right?
Well, yeah, but these are the only ones I want.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, she's spending her hard-earned money to get you something.
And like an older, wiser brother, he seizes this teachable moment.
I've got to the point where I can make my own money now, so I can buy my own shoes. But until then, yeah, my mom bought me stuff. You know, I was always thankful. The least you can do is say thank you.
Just say thanks. Caught between mom and her combative son is this next woman.
You stop being so stupid. Just tell her to stop being so stupid.
I'm sorry. I need a minute.
She tries to play peacemaker.
Is your mom as stupid as mine is? She's not. I don't think so.
I don't know what the name was. Maybe she's crying.
Now that things have settled between David and Lorraine, what'll happen when our mother-son duo is now daddy and his little angry girl?
You never get me anything I want. You're so selfish. I hate you.
As this mom looks on, Sophia is busy walking all over her father.
Give me the money.
I'm not going to give you...
I'm getting these shoes. Give me the money.
I'm not going to give you that.
If looks could chastise.
What are we going to do? Because I'm not leaving without these shoes.
I can't get them. I wish I could. I just try these on. Maybe they'll look good on you.
They're ugly. I'm not putting those on my feet.
A deep breath seems to help her stay quiet until she hears this.
My dad is so stupid.
Don't say that. He's not stupid.
Yes, he is. He's not buying me the shoes.
He works hard for what he has. Don't call him stupid. You're embarrassing him right now.
He's embarrassing me. He wants me to put ugly shoes on my feet.
How old are you?
I'm 13.
Don't act like that.
I want these.
You look really spoiled right now.
I really wanted these shoes.
Why don't you get a job and then get them yourself?
I'm not old enough. Duh.
Okay, so when you get a job, then you can get them yourself. Duh.
Not getting anywhere with Sophia, she offers some advice to the put-upon pop.
Walk out the store and don't get her anything. The more you keep giving her the things that she asks for like this, the behavior will continue.
Hi there. How are you?
Thank you, Angoi. I've seen someone has asked about the C, about the ABC: acceptance, belonging, then control. The C was control. The C was control. You should train them on how to control, to take control over their life. And for the video, we could share what we've learned from the video. It's about the rebellion we were talking about before. That will be, we are having part 2 of this conversation, of this presentation, which will be next week, and we'll be measuring on that video, on rebellion and teenage rebellion, and parenting. We could share what would you
Annabelle.
do? Yes. Yes. Hi.
I'm trying to imagine hi, this is Grace.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine the relationship between the father and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Probably as she was growing up, you can imagine you remember the Electra complex?
Yes.
And perhaps when the girl asked Daddy, bring me this, bring me that, and Daddy can't question. Now she has become a teenager, and all of a sudden Daddy says, I can't afford. Probably that could have happened. And the girl is just wondering why the change of guard, that Daddy can't afford to buy me the shoe I want. So probably as parents, we need to, actually the ones who have little children, we need to be very careful. Like you see a parent with a child in the supermarket throwing tantrums, Daddy, I want this, I don't want that. And then Daddy just accepts to buy. So as we are bringing them up, we should be able to make them understand that sometimes we cannot afford at all times, or rather once in a while we don't have enough money. So I'm trying to imagine the relationship between the father and the girl. Probably it could have started from maybe they are maybe 3 to 6 years, or maybe 3 to 10. And things have changed. Like now, for instance, we have Corona, and most of us perhaps on half pay.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot afford whatever we used to offer to our children. So, and these children probably are not understanding. So those with younger children need to be very careful on what we offer them as they grow up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that contribution. We'll be having that discussion on our next session. And I've read something from the chat. That's unacceptable. It can only happen in the western part of the world, not in Africa. I think I would leave the store without the shoes, or at worst, leave the thing in the store. I've read that from one of us from the... Pardon?
Yeah.
I'm reading it from the chat.
Acceptable. It can only happen in West.
Wangoi, over to you. Yes, pardon.
What happened here?
Annabelle, I'm seeing like there's somebody who wants to say something. James.
Hello.
James, you're physically raising your hand. Go ahead and make your comment.
Yeah, in Africa, you raise your hand physically. I watched the video thinking about the teenagers in most cases, and having personally raised up teenagers, there's one general equation that I know. It has much to do with how you raise them up, not what they want, but it's how you raise them up. And this happens because when you learn to negotiate with your children, then they know the value you get. Usually they say, you don't know the value of your dress until you lose it. So you learn to negotiate with them and be real. What parents do, which sometimes is really risky, is to try to prove that you're a hero. Bury heroes every day. So you prove to be a hero, and the best you can do is be down to earth with the teenagers. They will understand. My key in dealing with teenagers is my mom is really that you are fun.
Hello, James, I think we are losing you. Okay, as we wait for James to get back, I'm seeing a comment in the chat section. from Professor Gashoda. She's saying studies remind teenagers have malleable brains which are still developing. Their thinking is self-centered and they do not connect very well with their consequences.
In other words.
Helen.
Yes, go ahead, Anne.
I tend to agree with what Grace Minor said. Because there's something, I think I've watched a bit of Dr. Phil's videos on parent and teen struggles, and most of the time, the parent has a role to play. Most of the time in enabling a behavior. So if, for instance, a teen is like in the video, the teen was very up in arms and was throwing tantrums all around. Earlier in their development, there's what that parent enabled. There's a behavior they tolerated. And so it went on and encouraged them to behave in a certain way. And so now that the teen understands money and is all grown up and wants certain things, when the parent says there's no money for that, they don't understand. So a huge, both of them I feel are to blame, because there's what the parent has enabled over time, either consciously or unconsciously, and they don't know. So I think also we need to check our parenting skills and styles, and also to effectively implement the things we want to see early enough in the child's development, so that they don't end up doing, behaving like that. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you for that, Anne. A wonderful contribution there, that the parent is critical in enabling particular behaviors from early on when their child is developing. Thank you for that. Elsie, I really agree with your statement. It can only happen in the western part of the world, not in Africa. I think I would leave the store without the shoes, or at worst leave the teen in the store. Thank you for that, Elsie. So I think there's a socio-cultural aspect towards parenting and towards even the whole teenage experience. So I think we can wind up at that, unless there's somebody who wants to make a comment or a question, something to be clarified. Thank you so much, Annabelle, for the wonderful presentation, and we look forward to... Yes.
Now, what is Annabelle's view, or maybe the other participants, about a parent actually, can I say, discipline or punish a teenager in public? Because I've experienced it. I've experienced before in a salon where I go, and this lady used to actually literally punish her daughter in public, and the girl never liked it. What are her views about that?
And it's interesting because that is almost similar to the video we've just watched. When there's a public conflict, a conflict in public between a parent and a child, how does the parent react, and how do even the rest of us who are watching in that scenario react or respond? And I think it's open to anybody can bring in their contribution or their response. Yes.
Good evening, Helen.
Good evening, Isai. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry I didn't raise my hand because my gadget doesn't have a hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sorry, Helen. I want to contribute when a teenager misbehaved in public. Hello?
Hello, yes?
Yes, I think the best is not to fight back in public, because the moment you fight back in public, I think you expose yourself unnecessarily. It will be good just to leave the teenager misbehave. Then when you find time, you discuss about the issue. And also that part which says it is a Western thing. You know, the moment our children are going to school, they are being socialized to other cultures. And at the end, even those things as a parent, which you have groomed your child not to do, we end up doing it because at school or through friends, that child has been socialized, maybe not to respect parents. So I think it's a session on its own, which we need to discuss, because now we are living in a global village. There's no Africa, there's no Western culture. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Itzai. Lillian is saying, punishing in public is shaming the teen. This puts a dent in their self-esteem. So, and you know, I'm wondering, okay, the intention may not be to shame them, but will the parent have enough patience and tolerance to be able to endure the embarrassment by the teen's misbehavior and wait until they find a conducive environment or conducive time to be able now to address or respond to the behavior of the teenager? And thank you, Pauline. I'm seeing Pauline is saying teens will misbehave because they want to achieve some mistaken goals, which could be power, revenge, attention, or inadequacy. I teach parents to ask the could it be questions. Thank you for that, Pauline. And thank you all for the contributions. Grace, I hope somehow you're getting somewhere.
Yes, very, very okay. Something else I discovered with parents, most parents, is we forget that we went through teenage. So we also we expect our teenagers to behave like adults. And that is now where there is let me say there is a gap. So I usually ask the parents, where will you look at stage? Well, how are you, like what Annabelle started by asking, can you recall, can you share your experience as a teenager? So how did your parent handle you then? So most of them assume, or rather probably think, that they didn't go through teenage life and expect them to behave like adults. And perhaps that's why we have rebellion.
Thank you for that.
With our children. Yeah.
Thank you for that input, Grace. And Sam is saying the response that would be given during the public punishing will be picked up by the teen as an act of anger and not really seen as behavioral correction. Thank you, Sam, for that input. Anyone else with something to contribute to, as we wind up? Okay, thank you for your participation and for your contribution. I hope we have learned something to this evening, and our parenting skills have been made better, or we have been able to revise them. Thank you so much, Annabelle. And Annabelle, you didn't tell us about your program. Annabelle runs a program for teenagers, and before we wind up, maybe you can share a little bit more about that for any parent or any teenager who might be interested.
Thank you, Angoi. Yeah, I have a teens mentorship program. It's about I'm a psychologist and also a transformational coach. So it's all about mentorship, self-identity, self-awareness. We take them through a 4 weeks. It's a 4 weeks program whereby it's all about personal development. We walk with them through the journey of developing themselves, their innate, and how do they lead themselves as a person? How are they aware of themselves, self-identity? Yeah, and if any of you would love to enroll their teens, you could get my number from Wangoi, and I could tell you more about it. Thank you.
Annabelle, can I put your number in the chat section?
Yeah, that's fine. That is okay.
Okay. Thank you for that. Winding up as we come to the conclusion of today's session, we have a session tomorrow on communicating to children, tomorrow in the evening. We have not been having daytime sessions this week to allow some people to rest and to recuperate from the many sessions. So our next one is tomorrow in the evening on communicating with children by a lady called Catherine Amuludu, and I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you there. Frank, you're asking how do we explain the banning of schools, okay? And Pauline is saying teen rebellion as a developmental issue can also be attributed to their desire for identity formation and change in brain structure. Clearly, psychologists have learned about the brain and how it affects people's behavior. And thank you for that. Frank, I think we need another session to dig into the banning of schools. Alfina, peer pressure is a big one in adolescence. Then Catherine is saying the need for immediate gratification without the logic, looking at logic. Catherine, please say something about your statement. I'm not able to get it. We should remember that teens' brain is not fully developed, especially the prefrontal cortex. Annabelle's number. Okay, let me check for Annabelle's number. Okay, Annabelle's number is there, 0719 770-136. Okay, yes, there is Annabelle's number for anybody who wants to get in touch with her regarding her program. Also, thank you for that participation and that insight, Annabelle. We really appreciate. And thank you for everybody. There is no presentation today. There are no slides. So I hope you had your pen and your paper and your notebook and you took some notes about the ABCs, about the teen, about the many, she shared about several S and R and teen and the ABC, and I hope we took something home. So thank you very much and have a good